Hello class. Today we are learning about eye color mutations and genetics. There are three kinds: brown, green, and blue genes. Why do our eye colors differ? The genetics of human eye color is very complex, which is why there are a lot of variations in the human eye color. These variations occur because more than one locus and multiple genes control the expression of the eye color trait. In fact, 16 genes were known to be associated with the eye color inheritance. But the two main genes responsible for the eye color trait are the OCA2 gene and the HERC2, also known as the switch. It acts as a switch that activates the other gene, which is OCA2. OCA2, the bulb. It is activated by the HERC2 gene, and it activates proteins that produce pigments in the eye. We inherit these two genes from each of our parents. Each gene contains two alleles, but there are three known alleles that control an individual's eye color. These are brown, green, and blue alleles. The first gene, OCA2, may confer the B, brown, and recessive B, blue, alleles, while the second gene gives off the green and blue alleles. For the eye color trait, the combinations of these two genes will determine the phenotype or the end result of the individual's eye color. The complexness of this trait doesn't end only with that. Thus, the eye color is also determined by the amount of pigment melanin present in the stroma of the iris. More melanin gives off the darkest shade, which is brown, while less give off green, and little to no melanin give off blue. Another odd factor is the recessive form for each gene is blue. For example, a person has brown eyes and another has green. They may have the dominant brown and blue gene and the blue and green gene genotypes respectively. This shows that both genes always contain the blue alleles, but it's always recessive. Also, the fact that this occurs between two genes, yet the brown allele from the first allele is dominant from the green allele from the other, makes this genetics even more complex and broad. Bet you didn't understand that. Eye colors come in many shades due to different combinations of our genes. However, if errors occur during the combination of these genes, some mutations may occur. Blue eyes. New research shows that people with blue eyes have a single common ancestor. A team at the University of Copenhagen have tracked down a genetic mutation which took place 6,000 to 10,000 years ago and is the cause of the eye color of all blue-eyed humans alive on the planet today. It affected the OCA2 gene that led to the creation of a switch adjacent to it, which limited the production of melanin.
In the vast timeline of humanity, blue eyes are relatively new. Originally, everyone was believed to have had brown eyes. It wasn't until about 10,000 years ago that blue-eyed people started popping up everywhere. It was probably creepy as f***. Today, it's estimated that somewhere between 20 and 40% of Europeans have blue eyes. So what the heck happened? Where'd all these blue-eyed people come from? Short answer, genetic mutation. Here's a quick breakdown. Eye color is determined by the amount of pigment you have in your irises. If you have a lot of pigment, you have brown eyes. Less pigment, green or hazel. And when there's little or no pigment, you get blue eyes. So what causes your body to produce little or no pigments? Genetics. There are up to 16 genes involved in determining eye color, but the two main genes are HERC2 and OCA2. Wow, those sound fun and cool. The HERC2 works as a switch to activate your OCA2 gene, and the OCA2 gene activates proteins that produce pigments. If either of those genes are mutated, it stops the chain and pigments won't be produced. I know what you're thinking. How do you explain when two normal brown-eyed parents have a blue-eyed kid? See, that's where it gets a little more complicated. Everyone has two of each gene in their body, one from their mama bear and one from their pop. So if your daddy has one mutated OCA2 gene and one working one, but neither of your mom's OCA2 genes are mutated, then you'd still have brown eyes because you'd inherit the working OCA2 from your mom. But what if both parents have a mutated OCA2? Then there's a 25% chance that you would come out with those lurid baby blues. A hidden mutated OCA2 gene could theoretically be passed down through a family tree for generations without anyone knowing, making Mama and Papa Bear wonder whether they brought home the right cub from the hospital. A study at the University of Copenhagen looked at the DNA of blue-eyed individuals and found that 99.9% of them had a mutation in their OCA2 gene that rendered it useless. This led scientists to believe that all blue-eyed people may have come from one single common mutant European ancestor. So next time you lock eyes with another blue-eyed babe, be nice, because odds are you're distant relatives. Go up and hug them. They won't be scared.
Thus showing blue eyes. Aniridia. Aniridia is the absence of the iris, usually involving both eyes. It can be congenital or caused by a penetrant injury. Isolated aniridia is a congenital disorder which is not limited to a defect in iris development, but it is a pancular condition with macular and optic nerve hypoplasia, cataract, and corneal changes. As you can see, this person's eye contains no iris at all, showing only black, which is the entire pupil. Every space where the iris should have been is overtaken by the pupil. Heterochromia. Heterochromia is when a person's irises are different colors. There are a few kinds of heterochromia. Complete heterochromia is when an iris is a different color than another. When part of one iris is a different color than the rest of it, this is called partial heterochromia. As you can see, this person's eyes are two completely different colors. This is very rare in humans, but it usually occurs in cats. If the girl had different color on the eye, in the center of the eye, it would be called central heterochromia. Alexandria's genesis, a mutation where a human has violet eyes. The infant is born with graded blue eyes, but goes through a 6-month process of the iris turning into a royal purple. People may confuse this with albinism, but in reality, this may be the case. Yet, people with Alexandria's genesis appear to have dark hair and dark eyelashes. It's just the pale skin and pale eyes that are the problem. So, this may have a tiny link to albinism, but scientists are still unsure. As you can see, we have learned so much about basic eye color genetics. We've learned about mutations, we've learned about blue eyes, we've learned about how they work in the OCA2 gene and the HERC2 gene. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Oh, and I don't really know what happened to the lady at the beginning. Anyways, have a nice day, everyone.